I just want to talk to you about some other stuff in college football. You and Kirk went viral on New Year's Day with your takes on players opting out. You know, Kirk said that players don't love football as much as they used to. You said there's a sense of entitlement. Is that really how you feel? I just wanted to see like what your feelings were on that.
Yeah, well, I think that if did you watch the segment?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember what I said at the end of the segment?
What was it?
I said that there's a producer in my ear and he keeps telling everybody to rap. I said, I had much more to say. I said, but these guys kept running through that red light. They kept going. And I'm the only one sitting there like playing by the rules, you know, while he's like, okay, rap. Because I had a lot more to say. I had a lot more to contribute because I really didn't say much, to be honest with you.
No.
I did say that I feel as though they're entitled. And let me put this in context for you. Since I do this for a living, I speak to a lot of head coaches. I speak to a lot of coordinators, and I speak to a lot of recruiters. And so what I'm telling you isn't just something that's just my opinion based on nothing else but my opinion. It's based on what I'm told from other people who are with these, you know, kids daily. Now, it's not all of them that are entitled, but right. the small fraction of players that we were talking about, I was addressing that the competitive spirit seems to be not as strong as it used to be. And I will look at the transfer portal as an example. And again, this is what the data would tell you. When you're looking at all of these players entering the transfer portal because they don't want to, some of them, not all of them, got to right. Make sure we put it in context, but a lot of them because one guy beat this guy out, so now he wants to transfer. He doesn't have that competitive spirit where he wants to stay there and fight for the job or fight for the position. That's why the cup of the transfer portal runneth over right now. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous. Guys don't want to stay there and compete anymore. That's why we celebrate a guy like a Jalen Hurts who didn't transfer. You know, he eventually did, but he stayed around long enough where he competed. You know, it's not like he said, okay, well, Tua got the job, so I'm bolting next season. Like he stayed around and hung in there. So with that being said, the competitive spirit, it trickles down to some guys who don't want to compete if it's not important enough. Now, when I played, the only reason you would not go to battle with your brothers is because you were injured, you were hurt. Now I understand that a lot of these players are like, hey, man, this game isn't for like, it's not a playoff game. It's a glorified exhibition, and I've been projected to go in the first round. I understand that side. I really do. But you got to keep in mind that you can't just flip a switch where your whole mentality, the way you've been raised and conditioned was you always go out there and you battle with your brothers unless you were hurt, to now flip it and say, okay, well, you shouldn't play because, no, not that you're injured, but you know what? This game really doesn't mean much. And I know your guys need you because it's a bowl game and you're probably playing against another really good team. So they really could use you in this game. But you know what? You protected going the first round. So you should just not play. Sit this one out, go somewhere, get ready for the draft and blah, blah, blah. It's just hard to make that switch mentally when that's what you've been conditioned all of your life. I completely understand because I'm probably one of the strongest voices as far as advocating for players and their autonomy. Like I was talking about Reggie Bush and the fact that I thought that USC owed him money when he was there, when it wasn't popular to say so.
Right.
It wasn't popular to do it back then.
Right.
But I told everybody, I said, all USC needed to do was open up the books. I said, how many number 5 jerseys did they sell before Reggie Bush wore the jersey? Okay. How many did you sell after Reggie Bush wore the jersey and won the Heisman? It's really simple math. Mm-hmm. He gave that jersey value. There's no way you can tell me that he didn't give it value. And he should be compensated for the value he gave that jersey because it's part of his likeness. So I've been a strong advocate for players getting paid for their likeness, for them, for their autonomy. I have no problem with these players having the ability to make these decisions. It's just like I said, we're now in the time where guys are making decisions because they want to protect the bag. And now I can't fault them. But as far as the entitlement is concerned, I think I addressed that too with the players. They don't win a job. They hopping into the transfer portal. I mean, we just watched a guy who was supposed to start classes. I think he went from UCF to UCLA, and he was supposed to start classes. Gabriel Dillon, he was supposed to start classes at UCLA yesterday, and then Caleb Williams, the former Oklahoma quarterback, announced that he's going to the transfer portal. So this kid, Gabriel Dillon, who was supposed to start classes at UCLA, who transferred from UCF, now he said, you know what? I'm not starting classes here. I'm going to go to Norman, Oklahoma, and I'm going to be, the quarterback there. So it's interesting to say the least.
I'm for the chaos. I'm for this chaos because you look at coaches like Brian Kelly and Lincoln Riley, like they leave for millions of dollars, and no one questions if they love the game or if they're entitled. I don't understand why coaches get this free track to go make more money, and when players do, they get.
Well, you say no one questions that. That's not true. There have been people who've criticized them for leaving. Yeah, they've been criticized and chastised for doing, especially Brian Kelly, because Brian Kelly, and we talked about it on the show. Maybe you didn't watch the show, but Brian Kelly's team, Notre Dame, don't forget, they still had an outside chance of making it to the college football playoff, and we addressed that. Mm-hmm. And he left them high and dry. So don't say they don't get chastised, because they do. We do take them to task for that when we think it's appropriate.
Well, I'm glad that we had you on here today, because I knew watching that segment you had a lot more to say than what you were giving.
Absolutely, so, man. Like I said, they kept running through the red light. I didn't get a chance to explain myself or say nothing. I was like, okay. And then they try to, but it is what it is, right? Hey, yeah. Social media, they need something to be angry about. So it's no problem.
And then once the segment's over, do you look at Twitter and go, okay, here we go. I want to say so much more.
Hey, sports fans, if you want to watch more sports seriously, be sure to check out these clips right here. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel to see all the great content from us here at USA Today Sports.